Hello, hello, 7-footers. Welcome back to a special trade deadline episode. But you know what? It might be a little bit boring. Jarod and Jenna here might not have anything to talk about because there's nothing going on in the NBA, right?
No superstars want to get traded from their current place of employment. Nothing really happening in this league. I don't know.
No. Actually, it's the opposite. Anthony freaking Davis wants a trade. Wants a trade from the Pelicans before the trade deadline and about a year and a half before his contract is up.
Yep.
So let's just jump right into it here because this is going to shake, rattle, rock, break the NBA in ways that we haven't seen in a very long time.
Well, funny that you said we haven't seen it in a long time. Do you know when the last time we saw such a seismic shift in the NBA landscape when a player of the caliber of Anthony Davis shifted teams and demanded a trade from where he currently is?
Tell me who it is, Jarod.
So we have to go back all the way to the 1970s.
Way before my time.
Don't we know that? To a player by the name, you might have heard of him, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It's funny that you say that, Jarod, because I sat down with him a few months ago. What a good man.
Listen, you could argue that's the GOAT right there. I mean, that's a legend.
You have some people up in your mentions now.
Listen, the only people going to be in my mentions are young people who don't know anything about basketball. People who know the game of basketball cannot discredit the legend that is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But he was on the Milwaukee Bucks. He'd already won a title, MVPs, and demanded a trade and ended up in Los Angeles with the Lakers. And there is some symmetry here with that, Jenna. Not that, this person who Anthony Davis is going to end up with the Lakers, but, wanting to move out from a small market, Milwaukee, to
a bigger market. I see the parallels here.
Just gonna put that out there.
And we will get into it. So let's set the people up with the background that they deserve here. Anthony Davis, like we said, requests a trade from the Pelicans. He will not sign the Supermax extension expected to be given to him from the Pelicans. His agent, Rich Paul.
Clutch Sports.
Who else is part of Clutch Sports?
Some guy named Ben Simmons. Some guy named John Wall.
What's the one guy I'm trying to remember? He's not that good.
LeBron James, I think his name is.
That would be him.
Guy.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. So anyway, Rich Paul comes out and says, quote unquote, Anthony wants to be traded to a team that allows him the chance to win consistently and compete for a championship. Okay, I'll give you my opinions on that in a few here, but what do we think about this? First of all, tell me your initial reaction when you saw this news.
So the tweet came through, or quote unquote, the Woj bomb came through.
Exactly, we got to give Woj the credit that he deserves.
As always, Woj is the man. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski sent the tweet out Monday morning around 7 a.m. Eastern time.
He doesn't even wait.
So I was definitely awake, and I was like, what? I mean, and it wasn't that I was surprised. I mean, we kind of knew this was going to happen in the sense that we knew AD was not going to re-sign with the Pelicans, regardless of the Supermax or what have you. And when Woj said, hey, Rich Paul has let the Pelicans know Anthony will not re-sign, he was actually doing them a favor, right? Giving them a full year and a half to figure out what they want to do in terms of finding the right trade partners to get back as much as they can with this trade. Because again, let's just be clear about who Anthony Davis is. Again, we did the Kareem comparisons. I mean, Anthony Davis is no Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Break it down, though. But he's having an MVP caliber
season. But Anthony Davis is an MVP caliber candidate, and he is, worst case scenario, one of the 5 best players in the world right now. I mean, probably somewhere in the top 3 or 4.
I mean, if you ask him, he's the best player
exactly
in the world.
And all those guys who were at that level think that, as they should. And so this is monumental. And he wants to play in a bigger market, and he wants to play with a chance, as Rich Paul said, to win consistently. And I want to, really talk about this for the people, the fans out there who kind of hear this stuff and don't really understand how this all works and what's going on.
Oh, he's grabbing the mic, guys. He's grabbing the mic. I might not be safe on the other end of this.
I might start throwing things.
Potentially.
The New Orleans Pelicans had Anthony Davis under control for 7 seasons.
That's a lot of seasons in the NBA, especially right now with all of the shifts and the moves.
And they've done nothing. in terms of creating a winning culture, a winning team around him.
I completely agree with you on that, and that's one of the notes that I do have here. They haven't had a good season. Right now, they're 13th in the West, okay?
Not making the playoffs.
Exactly, not making the playoffs. They're not even going to make a playoff run at this point.
No.
But let's break this down for a second here. Like you said, they haven't done anything in 7 seasons. Okay, let's talk about this season. You have Boogie gone. This is your time to make adjustments. We saw in the beginning of the season in the West when the Rockets were having trouble, and they made some adjustments, and they came back, and now they have a 29-20 record?
Yeah.
I mean, the Pelicans sat and did nothing. They were complacent when you have one of the best players on your team. And like you said, are we surprised he requests a trade?
Not at all.
That organization cannot be mad at
Guys,
this point.
Jenna's hot right now.
I am hot because it just makes my blood boil because Coach comes out before and he says, "Oh, we're not trading him even anything for Beyonce." You don't put Beyonce's name up in there, okay? Don't be throwing Beyonce's name up in there.
Look out, the Bayhive gonna come for you, buddy. Better watch out.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I just can't. But back to the business here. They did nothing. Now, as you were saying, I'm sorry.
No, listen.
Now I'm already sweating, and we're like 3 minutes in.
You had to get your rant in. And look, and I'm going to echo a lot of what you just said. Again, the reality here is they had 7 seasons, okay, to do something with this man. They have Drew Holiday, an excellent player. They have some parts, Nico Mirotic, Julius Randle. But you had Boogie Cousins and Rondo last year. Yeah,
Rondo, yes.
I understand Boogie had the Achilles, but they figured, all right, I'm just going to let Boogie go.
Bad move.
You know who's looking pretty good in Golden State right now?
Boogie Cousins.
And all I'm saying is you didn't have to give Boogie a max deal then. Because, look, he's with Golden State for $5 million this season.
He took the
mid-level exception.
Yeah.
You could have offered him a little bit more than that. And Anthony Davis might be like, you know what? Kept Rondo and been like, hey, we can do something here.
Exactly. And that's the Pelicans' karma coming back to bite them, in my opinion.
Because
they left Boogie Cousins out to dry.
And this is one of those situations where,
where's your loyalty?
Again, well, as we know, there's no loyalty in sports. So let's
let's
just get that notion out of here.
But still, but all I'm saying is they're probably preaching the front office. Where's your loyalty to us? We had you for 7 seasons. Sorry. Listen, I want to win. I'm the best player, in my opinion. I want to win.
Listen, these players don't owe these teams a thing, and vice versa, right?
Amen.
You sign a contract. You play out your contract. All Anthony Davis did was tell them, when my contract is up, not this coming summer, but the following summer, 2020, I will not be accepting your Supermax contract extension.
No.
So you either figure out a way to trade me, which fine by me, I'm cool with that, or come 2020, I'm just walking because I'm going to be a free agent, and then you get nothing back in return. And here,
I was just going to say, they better be real smart about this, or they're going to end up with nothing.
Literally nothing.
Still a losing culture because they have nobody back. So it just blows my mind.
The Pelicans are a poorly run franchise.
Tell me about it a little bit.
And again, this is my rant on this, and I have a very different take, as you know, when it comes to sports. Okay. This whole, what about the fan? What about those poor people in New Orleans? Blah, 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 blah.
It's fun enough in New Orleans. You don't need that.
I don't care. Okay? Again, you had 7 seasons with this man. How about you blame your organization for being poorly run? It has nothing to do with Anthony Davis leaving. And why doesn't the NBA step in and help us small market teams? Boo-hoo-hoo.
No.
Stop. Guess what? Football people should not be running the New Orleans Pelicans.
Exactly.
And that's what's happening right now.
Get smart.
Tom Benson, who passed away, owner of the Saints and owner of the Pelicans, his wife Gail now runs
the Pelicans.
both franchises. You have Mickey Loomis, who is the Saints GM, running the Pelicans. He is Dell Demps' boss. What does Mickey Loomis know about the NBA? Not only that, you have the Saints medical staff, a football medical staff, in charge of the Pelicans medical team. What? If that doesn't scream incompetence to me, I don't know what does. You hire qualified basketball people to run the basketball business. The biggest misnomer in sports is that our teams aren't good because we don't get good players. No. Your teams aren't good because your ownership and your front office stinks. Mm-hmm. That's why your teams aren't good.
Get smart, build something, stack picks, do what you can in the front office.
The biggest competitive...
You can't blame the small market.
The biggest competitive advantage is good ownership and good front office.
You've been preaching that since day one.
That's the key. If you got bad owner and bad front, I don't care what you do. Listen, the Bulls lucked themselves into championships. You know why? Because they were lucky enough to draft Michael Jordan, okay, and Scottie Pippen. Look, otherwise, what's their history been like? Not really good. And this whole idea, and okay, Chicago, you want to say bad example because they're a big market. You know who's a small market? San Antonio. Guess what they've been doing for the last 20 plus years? Winning consistently, right? 50 plus wins a season.
And the Thunder.
Right? We'll get to the Thunder in a minute. Winning consistently, 5 chips during that time frame. Listen, you got to hit on the draft and have smart people in charge. That's how you win in a small market. And the funny thing about Oklahoma City, you brought them up, they're such an interesting case because they could have been one of those teams that went down the wrong hole. And you know, I have killed them on the past on this podcast and in many other platforms for what they did in terms of letting James Harden go for $5 million when the salary cap spiked the next year. Facts. And then KD walked during his free agency year, and then they were left with Russ. But here's what Sam Presti did. Presti recognized, okay, wow, we had 3 MVPs on this team. 2 of them are gone. I got to do whatever it takes now to do what is necessary. I got to draft smart. And by the way, one thing Presti's got to get credit for, even though some of it's a little suspect, they draft well. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Serge Ibaka, Steven Adams. I mean, they draft exceptionally well. Guess what? Smart people. You scout. That's what you have to do. And no one thought they would get Paul George to commit and stay. But guess who signed a long-term extension in Oklahoma City? Paul freaking George, who, by the way, as we talked about last week, having an MVP caliber season.
Incredible.
So I don't want to hear this.
And he's a starter.
Right. We can't do this. We can't do this in a small market. Nonsense.
Boo-hoo.
Your ownership and your front office stink. That's why your team stinks.
Hey, I agree.
So all you Pelicans fans who are like, or all you people want to rail on the NBA about the players having too much control and big markets always win out, nonsense. Get better people in charge of your small market franchises, and you won't have this problem. So that's what's going on right now with Anthony Davis. And the Pelicans have no one but themselves to blame. But current GM Dell Demps, and who knows how long he'll be here, they have an opportunity to get a haul for Anthony Davis. And if I am them, that is how I'm approaching this. I want the best possible package for this guy. That includes current young players who are good today, right now, and a bunch of future potential with draft picks, etc.
Well, here's the way I see it. I completely agree with what you're saying, and you can't make somebody stay if they don't want to stay. So the man wants to stay. So if I'm in the Pelicans front office right now, my objective is going to be, all right, I'm going to listen to, let's just say the names that are being thrown around, Lakers, Celtics, Knicks,
whoever.
I'm going to listen to the best trade package, like you said, and I'm going to take what I can get, the best for that. Because he has 1 foot out the door. He announced it 1 week before the trade deadline. Why do you think he announced that? Why make him the villain if he didn't want to put a leg up on some of these franchises trying to take him in?
And
look at his agent.
That's the key right there.
Exactly.
So
you could have waited.
He could have waited.
You didn't have to cause anything, but you didn't.
Here's the thing. If this trade does not go down, and today it's January 30th as we record this Wednesday, the trade deadline is February 7th. The trade has to go down within the next 10 days for it to be advantageous to the Lakers, which is where everyone assumes he wants to go and sign long-term, of course, because of the LeBron James piece and the Clutch Sports connection. Rich Paul, who runs Clutch Sports Agency, is LeBron James's agent. He's also Anthony Davis's agent. And, you people on the league talking about collusion and is LeBron, pulling the strings as a puppet master. First of all, if he is, so what?
Exactly.
So what?
Exactly.
This
is how the man wins chips.
And
exactly.
Even if he is, look, and I don't think he is, because what you're doing by that is you're saying Anthony Davis, you're not giving him credit for being smart and realizing, why the hell do I want to lose in New Orleans? This place is terrible.
But here's my thing. I don't know why people, like we said, are shocked or why is he doing this? He's this, he's that. The writing was on the wall. You labeled yourself last year, I think it was, a few months ago, as the best player, in his opinion,
Mhm, mhm.
in the NBA. So if that's your mentality, why do you want to be on a team in the West that's in the 13th seed not winning? If you're that determined, if you have that much drive, you want to win. I don't blame him for wanting to leave the Pelicans. 7 years is 7 years too long. I'm sorry.
No, look.
And it is. So now if I'm the Pelicans, you listen to the best trade package, you take it, and you start that rebuild and try to get a winning culture in New Orleans.
Well, and here's the challenge, right? So if you're the Lakers, you want to get this deal done within the next 7 days.
Fast. Okay.
Because if the trade deadline passes, that now sweetens the pot in terms of Boston will be available to trade for him this summer, and the trade packages from other teams could increase based on what happens on draft day. Because if you're the Lakers, your package at best is going to include Kuzma, Lonzo, Ingram, and some version of the 2019 and your 2020 draft pick, right? That's the best you can offer.
Yeah.
Because that's really all you have.
Exactly.
You know,
Like you said, young talent. That's the young talent they have to
but
offer.
but the thing about it is, the feelings around their young talent around the league is very mixed. How good is Brandon Ingram really? We don't really know.
He's not consistently good.
Right. How good is Lonzo Ball? He's injured right now. Can't shoot really. We don't know.
The only consistent good one you have is Kuzma, in my opinion.
And all Kuzma can do really is kind of score. He's not even that good defensively.
No, not at all. I'm just saying out of the three that you named, Kuzma is going to be your best bet.
Right. And he's not exactly the world's most efficient scorer either. So,
well, here's the thing. Let's say the Lakers do not, they don't make the trade happen. So we wait, okay?
Yep.
That's going to give Boston a leg up because you have Kyrie being done with his rookie extension contract, whatever. And not to mention, if, say the Lakers do get him, then Boston misses out. It's a good outcome either way, though.
Again, if you're the Pelicans, if I'm Dell Demps, Pelicans' current GM, I am taking phone calls from every freaking team in the league.
I ain't sleeping. I'm taking phone calls all day.
There is no sleep. You are listening to everything. And you are in a position to, in many ways, be somewhat in the driver's seat, particularly because Davis is that good, right?
He's a franchise-changing talent.
Exactly.
Say he goes to the Lakers.
Right.
I think the Lakers are a title-contending team this season.
You got Davis and
this
LeBron.
Season.
Well, here's the thing about it. Davis and LeBron would give the Warriors some trouble, but they still need a third piece, which they couldn't get until probably the summer.
And who is going to be that third piece?
It could be a lot.
Who's a free agent?
It could be a lot of different people. We're gonna get to Kyrie Irving in a minute.
Well, I was thinking Klay Thompson.
Well, we can get to Klay in a minute too. We get low key. It could be Klay Thompson as well. We can get to all that. But
I'm about to move to LA.
Jenna's gonna be South Bay's news resident, living in
you know what's up?
Marina Del Rey or Manhattan Beach or Redondo or wherever.
I've always wanted to go to the Bay, baby.
But that is what's going on right now. So if you're in Boston right now, Danny Ainge and the Boston front office, they're sweating a little bit because they know they cannot trade for AD because of a rule in the CBA. They already have one player.
Thank you. Not a lot of people ever want to talk about the NBA CBA.
Yeah, there's a rule that says you can only have one player on their designated rookie extension signed to the team at one time.
Yep.
And that's Kyrie Irving. So they'll have to
We're
wait.
on the same page. I got that note right here.
They have to wait until Kyrie opts out or until his free agency begins, which is July 1st, and then they can go ahead and get him and figure out, okay, then we can re-sign Kyrie or whatever it is they plan on doing. So Boston is hoping. LA does not make that move. So here's what's probably happening. Because Danny Ainge is no doubt calling Dell Demps. He's saying, okay, I know the Lakers are offering.
He's sending him an edible arrangement as we speak.
He's like, I know Dell Demps is offering you. He's like, I know that Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka are offering you a lot. But here's the thing. We're willing to throw in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in a potential deal. So now whether or not that happens, who knows? But that's what he's telling him, to keep him sort of, keep him on sort of not making that move. And also, Boston has a lot of other assets in terms of draft picks, right? Sacramento's pick, a lot of other things they can send their way. Because Boston covets Anthony Davis. They really, really want
Danny
him.
Ainge has been waiting for this moment
Yes,
for years.
he
He's been
has.
stacking draft picks
For this exact
years.
reason.
For this moment, he's been eyeing him up,
For this
peeking in his
reason.
windows probably at night. Okay.
Being a creeper.
All right. Let me get to a little bit of a rapid fire here. I
Yeah.
got some questions for you, Jarod.
Shoot him
okay?
up. Shoot him up.
Are you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right,
Guys,
all
she's like,
right.
she's going to pepper me with questions. I'm getting nervous.
All right. I've been working on this for quite a hot minute here, kids. Okay. In simple terms,
Yeah.
where does AD go next? Where do you see him? Put yourself in the shoes of a GM. What would you do? Where is his best fit?
Okay, so his best fit is probably Boston. Is probably his best fit.
Now, do you mean this as in player-wise, or do you mean this as in assets and trades and deals?
Well, okay, so
or you can wrap it all in one. Do whatever you want.
that's
I'm
the
here.
thing. It changes with different people. If I'm Dell Dems and I have my GM hat on, and I want the best offer,
Yes.
and Dell Dems again is the New Orleans Pelicans GM,
Mm-hmm.
the Celtics will likely offer me the best package, and again, I have to get as much as I can in return because regardless of what I get back, I may never get another Anthony Davis again.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to get as much as I can. So the Celtics likely have the best package, which is why if I'm Dell Demps, I don't let the Lakers rush me into making a deal right now.
Very good point, because that's the whole thing that's happening right
Yeah.
now is the rush, obviously.
Now, here's the little caveat that could make things a little harder.
Okay.
If Rich Paul lets other teams know, hey, you can trade for AD, but when his contract is up in 2020, he ain't going to re-sign with you. That's or it's very unlikely he does. That's going to eliminate a lot of teams. Now, your hope is if you're a GM and you think we can do what Oklahoma City did with Paul George, we can do what Toronto's trying to do with Kawhi. If we bring him into our culture and he sees us winning and we extend right away, he may say, you know what? I'm going to stay. Because here's the thing that Anthony Davis wants. If he gets traded somewhere and they're winning, and when his contract is up in 18 months, that the cupboard is still full of young talent and they see themselves still winning and they can bring in another top-tier free agent, he's like, you know what? I'm going to stay here. But again, it's all a gamble and a roll of the dice.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay? So do I think Boston's in play? Yes. Because if they start winning, I could totally see him staying there.
I agree.
Another team that is interesting, and maybe you want to wait, I don't know, is the New York Knicks.
Okay, put your GM hat on there.
Now, if I'm the Knicks, I'm sending Kristaps Porzingis. I'm sending Tim Hardaway Jr., Courtney Lee, because the salary's got to match.
Everyone. All of them.
all
Send the whole roster.
I am sending my 2019 draft pick number one protected, which means if I get the number one pick, I keep that because number one, everyone's going to pick Zion Williamson most likely.
Well, that's why I was like.
Right? Yes. Number one protected, which so if they don't get the number one pick, 2 through whatever, that goes. But if it's 1, I keep it because I want Zion.
Okay.
And then if they say, if Dell Demps is like, that's not quite enough, you got to give me Kevin Knox, I'll be like, all right, see ya.
All right.
Knox goes too.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it doesn't matter. The Knicks aren't winning any games this year. Who cares?
They're going to build that team around him.
You got Anthony Davis. You got.
Then you're going to attract people to that franchise that is so iconic.
You got Mitchell Robinson. You got Alonzo Trier. You got young talent. Let's say you don't get, so you get the number one pick, right? So let's say you get Zion Williamson. You moved up, but you moved out enough salary. You have cap space. Guess who you can sign in 2019 as a free agent? I don't know. Who might want to play with Anthony Davis? Kyrie Irving. There's another 7-foot person who is going to be a free agent.
Are you talking about somebody like a sniper, like a 7-foot sniper?
I believe his Instagram handle is Easy Money Sniper.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Who's that guy?
Oh
Kevin
my
Durant,
God.
maybe? That'd be a pretty interesting team, don't you think?
Oh.
Hmm.
Are you kidding me right now?
Kevin Durant?
Wasn't even thinking about
Anthony
the
Davis?
Knicks until you just said that.
Zion Williamson?
Are we getting along?
So listen, so if you're the Knicks, that is the ideal scenario.
Oh my
ideal.
gosh.
That's the ideal scenario.
You bring up such great points.
That's the ideal scenario for the
You better
Knicks.
patent pen to that right now because that's going to be your next article.
I know. article coming out. Look out. Look
Right,
out, coming soon.
right. If anybody steals that idea.
Well, actually, for those of you that go on to sny.tv, I put an article up last week about which franchise in New York is the better option to go to the Knicks and the Nets. So, look, the Knicks, they got some things there. Now, the Knicks still have a problem, though, in the sense that we talked about ownership and front office and GM and all that. Their front office seems to be moving in the right direction. Perry and Mills seem to be doing the right thing. Their owner, James Dolan, is not still. Yeah, But the one thing he does do, and I will give him credit, he will spend the money. Like he has no problem spending money.
Owners love spending money.
He does. I don't know about other owners, but he will spend money on his team. So there's options there. So all I'm saying is the Knicks are an intriguing possibility if they want to make that move. If New Orleans wants to make that move now, and here's the idea with that, right? If you're New Orleans, here's why it's beneficial for them. Davis is gone. New Orleans is going to continue to tank, which means they'll have their lottery pick, right? Let's say the Knicks don't get Zion Williamson, the number 1. They get number 3. That goes to the Pelicans. They draft, I don't know, Cam Reddish or John Morant or Bol, whoever. I don't know, whoever they want to draft. And then they have all those young pieces, right? They have Kristaps. They can do some things there. They've got Drew Holiday, who will be, I believe, maybe 2 years left on that deal. They'll have Julius Randle. They could trade Nico Mirotic at the trade deadline this year. They have some things they can do. So they can get back some assets and do some stuff. So again, the Knicks are an interesting possibility. Will it happen?
I like that.
I don't know, because it's all about what Dell Demps and that front office, which, as we've already discussed, not very good, what they value and what they think is a good idea. So those two are possibilities that could happen by the deadline. The Celtics cannot happen until the summer, because that's just how that works because of the CBA.
Okay. So we went over the possible teams that are in the running for this. Yep. Is there anybody else that we think could take a shot at AD?
Again, as I said, all 29 other teams should be making a phone call, at least.
I just mean the good shots, like the assets that we have and the people that are in the news right now. But is there a team that you...
The 76ers, perhaps?
That should be our new thing. Tell me.
What would the 76ers have to give up to get Anthony Davis? So the question is, again, if you're Dell Demps, who were you saying you want? Do you want Joel Embiid or do you want Ben Simmons? Both are under their rookie contract extension and locked up for a specific amount of time. So where you want to go?
I mean, Ben can't shoot. And Joel Embiid,
But he's young, so you figure, hey, maybe we can do something, and we can get our performance coaches in there, which is probably not very good in New Orleans, but whatever. You know how you value him.
What do the Pelicans need? Do they need more of a Ben, or do they need more of a
The Pelicans need young
Embiid?
The Pelicans need young talent that are under contract, under control. Let me look up Joel Embiid's contract right now, because you'll have him under contract for the next few years. I just don't know what it all breaks down to. He did his rookie extension. I do know that.
Neither of them are going to want to go to New Orleans.
So they have the 5-year, $147 million. So yeah, using bird rights. So he'll be an unrestricted free agent until 2023. So it doesn't matter if they don't want to go.
I know. I'm just saying.
That's where they are. They'll have him locked up now.
Especially Joel, he particularly makes himself the face of that
franchise. If you're the Philly GM, that's a major PR hit, trading away the process, right? To right. I mean,
they're going to tank in the PR scene.
That's going to hurt them in the PR. You are getting Anthony Davis back, though. It's not like you're not getting a scrub back.
For sure.
Right?
I mean, it's definitely going to be.
So look, that's a possibility. And then Ben Simmons is on. I believe he's on his extension as well, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, he hasn't even gotten his, right? Because
he hasn't.
He's only in year 3. Yeah, so he's going to be a restricted free agent in 2020. So you have him under more cap-friendly terms. He makes $6 million this year, $8 million next season, and $10 million in 2021. So I mean, that's a young player under very friendly, cap-friendly numbers.
You make a good point as to why they have a chance.
So maybe. Now, Do they want to mess with our chemistry? I don't know.
You got to factor all of that in. And
right.
like you said, it depends on who's in your front office making those kind of
calls.
calls.
And Simmons or Embiid is not enough.
No.
Right. You need.
And who else do you have? Come on.
Who else do you have? What other picks can you give? Like, it's again, if you're New Orleans and you're Dell Dems, it's not just about what player you can get back now. Yes, you want ready-made talent now, but you also want future assets. Who else can I get? Well, future assets being draft picks. Now, the thing about draft picks are they sound so sexy. It's like, ooh, a future 2020 number one.
Oh, when you put it like that.
This is now 7 Footers After Dark.
I hosted a show called After Dark in college.
Oh, I'm sure you did. Sounds like the Quiet Storm.
Same concept, kind of.
But that's the idea, though, right? We don't know what those future picks will look like.
Absolutely.
I have no idea who's going to be in the draft in 2021. I don't know if they're going to be any good. So much of it is about, future, but who's good today and who's young and who can help me now and who can develop into something great.
Keywords today, I agree when you say that.
Right.
You need assets now.
The Milwaukee Bucks also said they will offer anyone on their roster except Giannis.
Okay, I was going to say.
I mean, they're not offering Giannis, right? Everyone but Giannis.
Okay.
So, but I mean,
a little bit of Malcolm Brogdon action, a little bit.
I mean, again, Dell Demps on taking all the phone calls. That ain't exciting me. The Houston Rockets will be an interesting one because they'll say we'll give you Clint Capella probably Eric Gordon, and we'll give you 4 future number 1 picks. Still not enough because again, I don't know what those 4 future ones will be. Sure, that sounds great in theory.
Of course it does, but it's not guaranteed anything.
And
that's the problem.
It could be really good. It could also be meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, if you are the Pelicans, you want a combination of good young talent and future draft picks, right? Which is why the Boston package will probably be the best because you're talking Tatum and Brown likely. Because listen, if I'm Dell Demps, that's what I'm saying. I'm like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, not or.
Oh, I want it all.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Tatum and Brown.
Uh-huh.
And picks.
Yes.
This is Anthony Davis we're talking about. Jason Tatum.
This is Anthony, and this is what I don't think some people realize. This is a situation, LBJ to Miami, KD to like the Warrior situation.
It's seismic.
This is franchise-changing talent. Okay, so we went over every possible scenario we think. We went over the details. We went over the X's and the O's, crossed our T's, dotted our I's. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit because I think this is very important. And Rachel Nichols brought this up, that of the jump. She said that this type of situation, like I just said, LBJ to Miami and things like that, this is an NBA changing situation. This is going to shift the NBA in ways that, like we said in the beginning, we haven't seen in a long time. We have a bunch of free agents in 2019. It couldn't be juicier right now.
Anthony Davis is 25 years old.
Exactly.
25.
We did not mention how young he is. Exactly. So tell me a little bit, let's talk about this, how it's going to shift the league. And we have all these rumors going around, like, number one, Kyrie's interested in reuniting with LeBron. And then we have Clay to LA if he doesn't get a Supermax. These are all rumors, like I said. But where there's smoke, there's fire, I usually think. So like I said, not only is AD shifting the NBA, he's going to shift the way people think. I might not have wanted to go to LA until I heard that maybe AD wanted to go to LA. Things like that. So tell me what you think about this.
So what we're having in many ways, it's a changing of the guard, right? It's sort of what we're seeing right now. It's a shift in the power balance and what's going on. I know this is going to make you sad, but it's an inevitability and it's coming. We are on, to use a golf analogy, we're on the back nine of LeBron James's career.
Oh God, I hate when you do this.
But I'm just being real about it.
I know. You know that day is going to be a really bad day for me.
Be a bad day for a lot of NBA
I have to
fans,
call out of
right?
work.
We are, I mean, this contract he signed through all this for 4 years, and that'll put him at 37, 38, something like that. I mean,
I say till 40.
He may play till he's 40, but 40-year-old LeBron is not going to be this current LeBron or 30-year-old LeBron. And look, this growing injury, he still hasn't played in like almost a month now, I think. It's been a while.
This is definitely the most alarming injury of his career.
So the new young guns are now ascending, you know? Yes, we still have KD. We still have Harden and Steph and all these guys, but those guys are KD's 30, Steph's 29, Harden's 28.
No,
Like
Steph is 30.
Steph's 30. Like these guys are, and again, I'm not putting dirt on them and saying their careers are over.
No,
I'm
but
just
you
saying,
have 25-year-old Anthony Davis, and
you got-
that's 5 extra years.
You got 25-year-old AD. You got Giannis who's in his 20s. You got, I mean, these younger guys are now starting to ascend.
Jason
okay,
Tatum's like 19.
all these young dudes, right? And so, and they're coming. And then remember, the league is going to change and allow high school players back into the draft soon, right? So
That's going to be fun.
it's only going to get younger again, right? So
Mhm.
the balance of power is shifting. Look,
Very good point.
it's all about dominoes falling. AD is a big one. Kevin Durant is a huge one because this next deal that he signs, if he leaves the Warriors, okay, is going to also determine where the balance of power shifts. Because let's be real, if he stays with Golden State and they make a couple adjustments and tweaks here and there, that they're still going to be the resident power in the NBA. But if AD goes to LA and gets Kyrie, or he goes to New York and gets Kyrie to go there, and who knows, right? I mean, there are a lot of different options out there. So it's about dominoes falling and about a shift in the landscape, okay? This is LeBron's, in many ways, going to be his last real big power move if he's able to land Anthony Davis. If he's unable to land Anthony Davis, the likelihood of seeing him winning more championships going forward is going to be really difficult, particularly if KD stays in Golden State. Even if KD goes to the Knicks or the Nets and they get another free agent to go with them, and it's just going to be hard, right? And then Anthony Davis goes wherever he goes, right? So things are shifting, and again, this is, in my opinion, the last big power play for LeBron, right? Whether it be this current Anthony Davis move or the summer free agency or 2020. Like, because again, the older he gets, it's going to be a little bit harder, right?
Yeah.
And players are going to say, you know, LeBron's the GOAT and all, but an aging LeBron may not help me as much as...
A lot of people want longevity now.
Right.
And that's not where they're going to seek it. They're going to seek amazing knowledge there.
Right.
They're going to play with the best player in the world, but, you know.
And then the other thing, too, is, like, at some point, he will cease being the best player in the world. Like, it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue it's already happening this season. He hasn't played in a while, so, you know.
In a perfect world, I would obviously have KD, Clay, LeBron, and Kyrie on the same team. But on the other hand, I would love to see power shift to the East. We said this I said this a long time ago. I'm an Eastern Conference girl. I love it. But I would like to see some power shift that way, you know? But honestly, we could have all the predictions in the world that we want, but like we said, this is a make or miss league. We don't know.
We have no idea. We don't know where
we
anything's
do
going.
not know. I mean, it's interesting times.
Beyond
That's all I can say.
Beyond interesting.
Speaking of Kyrie Irving, let's talk briefly about a moment that I just mentioned before. Bleacher Report's Rick Busher.
Bucher.
Yeah. Well, we never said I was the greatest speller.
Bucher.
You know, it could be argued a few different ways. Anyway, there's a report that Kyrie Irving is genuinely interested in reuniting with LeBron. Why would I say I believe this? Well, you know I'm obsessed with the both of them, number one.
Well, there's
Number
that.
two, looking at the facts, Kyrie is the one who came out and planted that media seed. He didn't have to say that, but
No.
he admitted that he called LeBron, they made up, and things were all chippy and fine. Then LeBron comes out, and you know me, I look into social media a lot. He comes out, tags Kyrie in a little song he's jamming to. Oh, old times, let's reminisce, hit up the gym. Oh, that's all I'm saying. Kyrie's a free agent in 2019. What do you think about this rumor?
Look, everyone's going to read into it because of the whole Instagram thing. And
I'm reading everything.
I know. And LeBron, like, making all those songs, or dedicating them to Kyrie. Okay, sure. I mean, sure. Like, I guess that could happen. And maybe Kyrie's like, you know what? Like,
He's his son.
Well, but Kyrie doesn't really like, you know.
Being sunned, I know.
Exactly. So maybe he's not.
But he admitted that he was wrong.
Listen, those two got a documentary coming out.
Oh.
This could all be a staged thing to
Don't
get.
care. Don't care. You know I cry at least 5 times a day.
Listen,
about this.
I have learned to to not rule out anything in this league.
I know.
Anything is
And
possible.
that's why it's the best league?
Listen, there's some other big game that's allegedly happening this weekend that honestly, like, I mean, the Anthony Davis news is taking over, like in my mind. Like I mean, what?
Are you kidding me?
Here's what I'll say about Kyrie. Remember we talked about this when he made this statement at the beginning of the season. They were like, "Oh, he's gonna re-sign with Boston." He was very clear with what he said. If y'all will have me back, I would love to re-sign with the Boston. And everyone ignored that "if you'll have me back" part. What that means is, if Danny offers me the max, sure, I'll stay. If Danny doesn't, I'm out of here because somebody else will offer me the max. And so, and look.
And who has a max roster spot available?
A lot of teams. The Lakers, the Knicks, the Nets.
Oh, and you said the Knicks and the Nets. Kyrie Irving's family is from Jersey.
They are. So, listen, you could, anything is possible is what I'm saying right now. So, it's,
All right.
My point is that I don't know what to do with this league because it's like super exciting. I don't know.
Incredible.
I don't know where Kyrie's going to end up, but hey, if Danny gets too cute with him and decides to like not quite give him the max, out.
Oh, absolutely.
Out.
2019 summer is going to be fun.
Lit, as the kids say.
Oh.
Wait, do the kids still say lit?
They do.
Okay.
They do. That's what the last thing they told me was lit. Yeah.
Lit.
I think it's on its way out, though. I think a new word will be here in 2019.
I'm sure.
Not sure. All right, trade deadline February 7th.
Yes, February 7th.
Very close, and this is our special, and we will be back. We have a lot of stuff cooking for All-Star, which is less than 2 weeks away. About 2 weeks.
All-Stars is about 2 weeks away. Yep, the February 15th, I think, right? That
15th
Sunday?
to the 18th.
Oh, no, the game is on Sunday the 17th. Rising Stars is on the 15th, and the Skills Challenge 3-point shootout, all that on the 16th. Yeah.
Well, I say 18th because that'll be when I'm nursing my All-Star hangover.
We will be down there doing all kinds of fun things.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
A little shout-out to, again, a couple weeks in a row they're getting shout-outs, the Brooklyn Nets. Rodions Karooks and Jarrett Allen named to the Rising Stars Challenge.
So proud.
The world,
and you must be
the
very
world
proud.
and USA teams respectively. That'll be fun. I'm looking forward to All-Star. Should be some exciting things happening there. It's always just good to see all the best players in the world together, having a good time, and
mixing the East and the West.
And
I wonder if LeBron's gonna pick Kyrie to be on his team.
And here's the thing: the trade deadline would have already passed, so we'll know what has happened, if anything, who's where they're going, and what people think about it.
And usually it's after All-Star.
I know.
So it's going to be a fun weekend.
Might be some like weird, awkward interactions down there. I mean, I don't know.
Little awkward handshakes on the red carpets.
Like, hey, man, how's it going?
How you doing? Oh, yeah.
But just exciting things. And real quick, as we close out and talk about the trade deadline, there are
What's up? What else is cooking?
There are teams that want to make moves, right? Like the Nets would love to sort of solidify their playoff picture, but with them, they don't want to sacrifice young talent and their cap maneuverability for this coming summer. So it'll be difficult. Again, I think I said this before. There are a lot of buyers, but not a ton of sellers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Niko Mirotic, I know, will be in the trade block for New Orleans. Julius Randle as well from New Orleans is on the trade block. We know Mike Conley and Marc Gasol on the trade block. I know Detroit's looking for a point guard, so it'll be interesting to see what they want to give up to get Mike Conley. Indiana, with Vic Oladipo being out, could be a place that wants to get Conley.
His surgery was a success?
Yeah, well, it's always successful until something happens. But
oh, my gosh.
No, but listen, we love Vic, so
yeah. we had him both for All-Star picks.
Yes, we're hoping Vic is okay.
Yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie also had successful surgery on his ligaments in his thumb.
I asked him.
I was going to say, he did respond to you on Twitter the other day.
I asked him when he was coming back, and he said, LOL. A lot of people were up in my business about that one. A lot of people.
So there are, and what's funny? Going back to the Anthony Davis thing really quick.
Mm-hmm.
If the Nets, for instance, wanted to make a deal.
Okay.
I'm not saying they should or anything like that. But if they did, as I said, every team should at least call. D'Angelo Russell, Jarrett Allen, the Nuggets pick, and the Knicks second-round pick. May not be enough to get it done.
I was just going to say, is it enough?
But maybe, I don't know. Here's the thing about
The thing that's gonna, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the thing that's gonna help a lot of teams, especially the Nets and
Right.
different teams like that,
right.
is that wherever AD goes,
Mhm.
people are going to follow.
Well,
He's going
that's-
to attract people, and especially when you made that Knicks point, if he goes to the Knicks, you have so much on your side with the Knicks. Fizdale's in there. I haven't met one person who doesn't like Fizdale, and nobody at me on that one. But that great coach, and not to mention, you got the Garden.
Well,
AD,
again,
the Garden, come on.
I'm gonna plug my own story again, but in that SNY piece that I wrote about which franchise is better, I did give the slight edge to the Nets, excuse me, because of their player performance development. I mean, look at what they've done with Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert, Jared Allen.
I think they're the most improved team.
They are. They're in the Sacramento Kings, right, this season. They've done some incredible work there. But, I've talked about this group, but my journalist friends with this little, chat group, and we're always, yelling.
He still hasn't let me in it, by the way.
Well, listen, we'll get I'm very protective of letting you into certain groups because then
he's very good to me.
It's going to turn into this thing, and I don't really want that to happen. But it's this whole thing about, but the Garden's still the Garden, and I gave them the leg up on that. The Garden is still the Garden. Players love going there. Harden did his Garden showcase.
And
I mean,
you hear players all the time. We heard it last week with Dwayne Wade
Yeah.
and James Harden.
they love it.
When opposing teams go there,
Yeah.
they almost have the same similar quote in the post game, whether
Yeah.
they lose or they win. It is so special.
They love it.
Playing here.
But here's the thing. Is it just that they love playing there once in a while, or do they want to play there all the time?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
Absolutely. I'm just saying there is that consistency with that post game statement with
Yes,
every opposing
everyone
team.
says it, and
Yeah.
all the top players have had their Garden moments.
Yes.
Right? Well, maybe Anthony Davis may want to have a different kind of Garden moment, as in bring a championship back to the Garden. Listen, let me tell you.
I just got the chills. I'm not joking.
So New York, by and large, I would say, of all the sports, is probably a baseball town. If I had to pick, I would say when the Yankees are winning World Series, that's probably what it is.
Well, plus they have a franchise like the Garden. And that.
That's probably it. But listen, those Knicks teams in the '90s, New York City was popping. I mean, it's always popping.
We were both ready to
we're
say
going
that.
to popping. Listen, they win a title. In the next 3, 4, woo!
Baby, and we live here.
Yeah, I
I'm
was gonna
ready.
say it's gonna be insanity.
And then I can't wait for people to be like, I want to go to New York now.
Well,
now
yeah.
they've been dissing us for a few years.
You think tickets are expensive now? They win a chip. You ain't never getting in there.
Nah, I'll stand outside.
I mean, we can get in for free, but
Yeah, we Gucci.
but good luck buying tickets. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. So look, there are numerous possibilities, but I am excited because a player of the magnitude of Anthony Davis is about to seismically change the landscape of the NBA.
And that's why the NBA is so fun, because it allows these types of rules that allow trades like this and different things. It's not like the NFL where they could hold out.
Nonsense.
And different things like that.
NBA, best league in the world.
It is
Bar
what
none.
it is, guys. It
Bar
is
none.
what it is.
That's why we love it.
It is why we love it. I mean,
Hashtag ball is life.
That's right. Hashtag 7-footers. Throw that in there. honey.
Hashtag 7-footers.
Throw that in there. Throw
Yeah,
that
yeah.
in there.
We're doing it, man.
We are doing it. I mean, wow.
So we record.
Did we cover it all?
I think we covered it all. We record again next week. I think we record on the trade deadline, so we may have some news to report by then. But
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be getting Woj bombs like crazy.
You might see us stopping and checking our phones. Shit, why's our phone keep buzzing?
Right,
Oh God,
right.
Woj, stop.
All right. Well, like we said, trade deadline next week. We'll be back for that, and then All-Star in 2 weeks.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
we'll have to wait and see what cooks up with AD.
Cooking, baby.
That's right. They played last night, the 29th. He did not play, but that had to be awkward on that bench.
Well, I was gonna
And
say when he walked into the arena, I was like, that's gonna
Headphones
be it. I was like,
in.
that's an awkward conversation in the locker room. Hey guys, how's it going? What's happening? Oh,
Just another Wednesday
another day.
or Tuesday. Oh my gosh. Let's take these jokes off air so we can get a little more candid here, all right? Thanks for hanging with us per usual, guys.
Peace.